In the historic center of the city of Chihuahua, Pascualita Esparza Perales de Perez was the owner of a shop called La Popular, which specialized in selling wedding dresses. It wasn't until the morning of March 25th of that same year that the store unveiled what would undeniably become the birth of one of the most famous legends in Mexico. People who walked by those streets and the shop's exterior quickly noticed the arrival of a new mannequin. This figure, which was named La Chonita by its owner, acquired its name because it supposedly arrived from France on December 8th, the day of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. With an almost hypnotic beauty, a tall and slender figure, it immediately stood out among the other displays in the store. However, it wasn't just these features that caught the eye of those fortunate enough to pass by. Thanks to the attention it received from everyone, they noticed all those details. Considering the resources available at that time to create a mannequin, the hair emerging from its skin was not at all difficult to notice. Every contour of a real body was present. It didn't have artificial hair but human hair. But above all, it was its gaze. Those eyes, which people insisted could not be artificial, along with its eyelashes, facial pores, lips, and the veins visible around the pupils. All of this exhibited and imposed a nature impossible to have been crafted by hand. This gave rise to numerous rumors that began to spread among the voices of the city, then across the country and now in many parts of the world. But then, what is said about this mannequin? What is the true story? What is its origin? And why did the owner never confirm or deny any of these rumors? Here we bring you some of the different versions that are told, opinions, experiences, and testimonies from people. Some more substantiated than others, but each in its own way makes you doubt. It was said that the owner, Pascualita Esparza, had a great affection for this figure. Every morning before opening the store, she would style its hair, spend time with it, and according to people who worked there, they sometimes saw her speaking to it in a low voice. As time went on, the mannequin required increasingly specific care, and not just anyone was entrusted with the responsibility of styling or changing it, only those whom Dona Pascualita trusted. According to testimonies from people who worked there, she asked them to bathe it like a person and not clean it as a mannequin. They applied shampoo, conditioner, and were asked to immediately dry its hair and keep it styled, along with other care practices that made people feel this figure was alive. All these practices by its owner began this series of speculations about the mannequin's story, as it was claimed that one of Dona Pascualita's daughters was about to get married, and moments before the wedding, exactly on her wedding day, she was bitten by a scorpion, ending her life. Her mother, Pascualita Esparza, could never accept the loss, so she had her daughter's body covered in wax to keep her with her forever, never letting her go. To avoid raising suspicion for not having conducted a proper burial, she decided to display her as a mannequin in her store, as it was where she spent most of her time. Hence, the supposed appearance of the mannequin. Another widely circulated version is one where it's said that her daughter, possessing immense beauty, was pursued by many suitors. However, days before her wedding, one of these suitors, in an uncontrollable fit of jealousy and unable to bear seeing his beloved marry another man, ended her life by stabbing her repeatedly. Another story claims that she was in love with a man who was a taxi driver and belonged to the lower class. Her family, being upper class, never allowed this relationship as it would tarnish the reputation they had achieved. So, she clung to her relationship, and her family decided to hire a hitman to end the life of her suitor. Upon learning all this, she couldn't bear the news, so she decided to throw herself off a cliff, thus ending her life. And, of course, this would be the origin of the legend that claims that at night, this mannequin leaves the store, is seen taking a taxi, and is not found again until the next day in that showcase. A less-known version says that Pascualita Esparza's daughter, being an extraordinarily beautiful woman, was also egocentric and vain. Nearby, there was a woman who practiced witchcraft and, of course, couldn't tolerate the young woman's attitude, so she cast a spell on her that soon ended her life. All these versions ended with the same result, where Dona Pascualita never accepted her daughter's death, deciding to embalm her by her own means and forever display her in that showcase. These stories only heightened the mystique and doubt about what the mannequin truly was. All of this remained in speculation and in the voices of those passing by. The store, after displaying this figure, received an excellent response as people visited more frequently, sales increased, and the publicity they received was immense. But this situation did not always keep people calm. 10 years after the mannequin's arrival, many people went to the store to threaten Dona Pascualita, demanding she bury her daughter properly since they had heard the rumors spreading throughout the state. This of course affected the owner, so she often began telling people that it was simply a mannequin, but that was never enough. People also started reporting her to the police for exhuming her daughter's body, and after some time the authorities visited the place. It is said that it was officially confirmed then that it was indeed a mannequin. Since it was covered, they could only see its face. Another series of events that marked a turning point in this legend didn't occur until 1967, the year Dona Pascualita died, and reports of paranormal activities began. From then on, people started saying that this mannequin would follow you with its eyes. They claimed it frequently changed its posture from one day to the next, even though there was no staff in the store at night. Some recounted seeing it move, and if you stared at it long enough you could see it gradually smiling at you. All of this led people to start calling it Pascualita, as they believed it was the spirit of the deceased store owner. Some people today share stories passed down from relatives who worked there. One person, for example, who was responsible for styling its hair, said that sometimes when the store was silent, they could hear the sound of breathing coming from the mannequin. Other people who have worked in the store claim to have seen it sweat, so the employees designated to handle it would clean it right away. On top of all this, there is the strange and heavy vibe that people report feeling near Pascualita. There is a belief and custom that some brides, when shopping for their wedding dress, choose the one the mannequin is wearing at that moment, as it supposedly brings good luck and joy to their marriage. I once read a comment from someone who said they worked as a forensic scientist and, being frequently in contact with the bodies of deceased people, had no doubt that when they saw Pascualita, the mannequin's hands were undoubtedly real. Near that establishment, a relative of Dona Pascualita worked. He said that the figure was simply that. Pascualita Esparza acquired the mannequin from a store called Porta de Liverpool in those years. She would purchase the dresses and materials to make them, and one day upon arriving at that store she saw the mannequin. She immediately asked the owner for the price of the figure. The owner refused as it had just arrived from France. Pascualita Esparza told him that if he denied the sale, she would no longer make any purchases with them. Since she contributed significantly to the store's profits, the owner had no choice but to sell it to her. This is another version that was told, but like the others, it was never confirmed or denied by the store owner. And it wasn't until mid-2018 that, after much speculation from people about not knowing where Pascualita was, she returned to the state of Chihuahua. However, everyone insists that she was no longer the same Pascualita. All the details that made her a legend had been lost. Each line on her fingers, her fingerprints, every pore, the hairs on her skin, her features, eyes, eyelashes, and her gaze. They claimed she was no longer the same. Now she was just an ordinary mannequin, one you could find in any display wherever you looked. As a result, part of Pascualita's legend was lost during that journey, and theories of all kinds have emerged. But tell us, what do you think of this legend? Did you know about it? What else have you heard about her? Also, share your theories with us, we want to hear from you. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are shaping this well-known legend, even if only in parts and with contributions from everyone, the legend of Pascualita. Thank you so much for staying until the end. We would genuinely like to know if this section was to your liking. Don't hesitate to suggest other legends you'd like to hear narrated. We hope you enjoyed it, and if so, continue supporting us by liking the content, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing if you haven't already. All of this has helped us immensely to reach more people and bring even more stories to you. Thank you so much for making all of this possible. I truly mean it when I say you are the best audience, and I never imagined that such incredible people like you would help this channel grow, a channel made with all our hearts for you. Sending you a big hug. See you in the next installment. Good night.